I don't know why, what has happened with Asmongold. I mean, he has taken like very brave stances in the past, despite scrutiny. So I don't know what he had to say about these protests, but a lot of people are very upset about what he has to say about these protests. He's always been this way. No, it doesn't matter. Asmongold will have 10 takes total. Okay. 6 of those takes are going to be exactly what you expect. 2 of those takes are going to be mealy mouth, like centrist stuff, maybe a little Fence City. And then randomly 2 of those fucking takes at the end are going to be unimaginably based. And you're like, what? Why did he say those 2 things? And I care a lot about those 2 things. Why? Because a guy that looks like that, a guy that speaks to an entire fucking community of dudes who've been playing WoW for fucking 40 years at this point, god damn it. Very important to have those 2 base takes. So lately, I don't know. I feel like the last 2 base takes are gone. And it's just all now, all 10 of the takes are on the same spectrum. The problem with these kinds of things is that, like, the more you go down the anti-woke pipeline, and I don't know if it's like genuine or if it's maybe a little bit motivated by your own subreddit, motivated by the reaction that the crowd is giving, which is ironic because a lot of people say that to me as well. They'll say like, I am victim or kidnapped by my own fucking chat. Like, that's why I constantly take the positions that I take. I must not believe them personally. And it's funny because I yell at my community quite a bit. And because I yell at my community quite a bit, especially when they do like weird rad lib shit that I find to be wrecker behavior, for example, I yell at my community all the time. I yell at them relentlessly when they engage in stuff, right? So I don't think I am audience captured at all in that regard. But my point is, sometimes you find yourself taking stances that you may not have taken a year ago or even a couple months ago, because you're like, you get the warmness of like being in a community that's like advocating on your side unconditionally, fighting your battles. Asmongold's recent spree of I'm being canceled law. Yeah, I just like, I don't know. I think cancel culture is ridiculous. I've been quote unquote canceled a million times over. His chat called whoever was with the students a Hasan freak. It was a shithole. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's sad to see. I thought I was watching Zionist Direct when I read his chat and listened to his takes. Same as this, you feel like the same group of people. Yeah, I don't know where a lot of this stuff's coming from, but I guess like maybe normies feel this way. We'll see. I mean, it's entirely dependent. If Charlie Moist Critical comes out and like finally does a fucking Palestine video and he's like, yeah, fuck these students, they fucked around and found out, then I'll assume like that the normie meter that I thought I had was off, and that like a lot of the normies are actually very fucking reactionary towards these protesters, you know? But I doubt XQC is unconditionally shitting on the protesters, considering that there's some fucking juicers in there. There's these little juicers are in the encampment. They're getting their little asses beat too. I think the way I see it is like, if you rely on your Reddit a lot as a vector or as a means of communicating with your audience, and I think Asmon does, he has a very active Reddit. A lot of Reddit is astroturf to oblivion, where like you hear some of the most unhinged right-wing takes as it pertains to like world news, you know? And I think that it does have the capacity to kind of change the vibes of an overall community. It's so cringe in online brain that Asmon fans associate being pro-Palestine with you. It's just embarrassing. They're negatively polarized from an entire political moral cause because of one Twitch streamer they think is soy or something. Yeah, I don't know. I have only one thing to ask you, Hasan. Read his chat when you've seen the clips.
It's like us antagonizing the cops. Yeah, it's like, it's a good thing that the cops took an L on that. Like, I mean, the cops didn't have to take an L on anything because they could shoot the protesters, but they don't do that, so.
That's crazy. That's crazy. It's also like positively not Texas to just have this attitude. You know what I mean? I thought Texans don't call 911, you know? Hasan viewer. I mean, they probably aren't wrong. Israel could nuke Gaza, but they don't. Yeah, I mean, a lot of this stuff is just like might is right politics, you know? That's where it stems from. You just got to do everything you can to explain to people that that is not how these things work, right? I don't know. For me, I feel like it's pretty fucked up to cheer on,
I mean, I feel
like unconditionally. And I said this on January 6th as well, so you guys even can't fucking catch me on this shit. When January 6th was happening, I was shocked at the lack of police response, because that was like definitely a valid moment. You had right-wing psychopaths like actually storming the fucking Capitol, right? Like you had right-wing psychopaths like breaking in to a government building while there is literally a congressional proceeding occurring there with a deliberate attempt to like openly kidnap politicians and stuff, right? Like in that situation, that does warrant a police response. It's like one of the few instances where like hopefully there isn't like too much police violence, right? But that does warrant a police response. I don't think the UCLA peaceful encampments warrant a police response at all. And if anything, not last night, but the night prior, the counter protesters warranted a police response and cops actually didn't do shit. They basically waited for an hour and 30 minutes for the counter protesters who aren't even fucking students to like literally try and blow up the encampments. And we watched it happen and they did too. And then the university turned around and used that chaos, that lack of interest in protecting their own students as a reason to why more violence must occur on these peaceful encampments. Now, violence in the hands of the state. How is that any different? To me, I feel like it's very obvious what's going on here, and I don't think that police reaction of this sort is ever warranted unless there's like literally a fucking hostage situation going on. You know what I mean? And even in that circumstance, like you probably shouldn't do this either, right? I personally think that it is vile, and also I can make an argument specifically on the boundaries of like right-wing Americans, on the boundaries that they could understand as well. The argument is pretty clear. The Los Angeles Police Department wastes approximately $3 to $8 million every single day. That's their operational budget. A lot of that money gets brought out to play in overtime in situations like the one that you saw. Every dime that they spend cracking fucking student skulls and violently arresting them for the crime of saying, I don't really like what Israel's doing, right? Every single dime could be spent on fixing fucking potholes, could be spent on training these goddamn pieces of shit so they actually do detective work, because they don't really solve crimes at all. That's the other aspect of this. Many of you that live in big cities know how little the cops give a single shit about actual theft, okay? You will have your bike stolen. Cops will look at you like, sucks to suck, big dog. They're massive. They're bold barbarian monsters when it comes to beating the shit out of homeless people, but they absolutely suck when it comes to dealing with literal fucking crime. Hey, my car got stolen. Sorry, big dog. You're on your own. Figure it out. Let us know. File a report so your insurance can fucking, so you can claim it on your insurance. And that kind of stuff happens because we look to this moment and think that they're doing a good job here. They're not. When do you ever see the police come out in numbers like this and actually do something, anything, when it comes down to like productive aspects of policing, like things that they're supposed to do? It just doesn't happen. So cops don't do their fucking jobs. And then beyond that, their fucking budgets are ever expanding. And those budgets are actually taken away from shit that I like personally. I want to be able to drive my car on a road that doesn't have fucking potholes that are going to eat the tire. I pay a shit ton. I pay European level taxes in this goddamn state, in this goddamn country. What do I have to show for it? No fucking healthcare. Not that I need it personally. Luckily, I'm very fortunate, right? But like, I want others to be able to have it. Public education is dog shit. Roads are fucking ass. Cops don't do their jobs, and they are the most expansive part of the fucking budget. So I'm just basically paying money so that we can create baby murder weapons and ship it off to Israel, $26 billion at a fucking time. And then if I turn around and say, hey, I don't like that actually, what the fuck are we doing here? Hold on. We got to put an end to this nonsense, right? Let's get a little bit of healthcare going here. How about that? Maybe high-speed rail, maybe some public transit. With the other local taxes, I'm funding a fucking military full of the worst ding-dongs you've ever goddamn seen, ready to crack my skull and my fucking fans and all of these wonderful people out there who are saying enough is enough. We got to put an end to this genocide. This makes no fucking sense. The entire system is fundamentally broken. Instead of spending that much money on cops beating the shit out of homeless people, we could maybe take a percentage of that fucking budget and actually build permanent shelter for homeless people in a shelter first, permanent shelter first, housing first initiative for homelessness. We would literally be able to at least tackle a significant aspect of the problem, but we never do that. We just keep exacerbating the problem over and over again. It's like one of the most American things of all time.
And law enforcement all within that area right now, but things are being tossed out as we speak. the screaming, the shouting, the
Fuck
bang,
around and find out.
continue right here.
I mean, this is lame as hell, dude. It really is. It's like saying fuck around and find out about like brutalizing a bunch of students for the crime of being like, I am not too fond of our relationship with the state of Israel for its actions is crazy, you know?
At the encampment that's been in place now for several days.
Like the thing is, they would do this if there was, I don't know, dude. What does Asmongold care about? Like fucking something that they made Dr. Pepper illegal. You know what I mean? Like if they made Dr. Pepper illegal, I better not see your ass out there protesting against the fucking oppressive state. You know what I'm saying? Like, because they'll do this to you too. The point is, you, Asmongold, are infinitely closer to having a problem with the state, just like these students are, than you are closer to the fucking cops in this circumstance. What goes around comes around, you know? It will inevitably be something that you care about, something that your loved ones care about, something that the people that you care about, and inevitably, when push comes to shove, they'll try to demonstrate in the United States of America, you're supposed to be able to do that. I don't think we should be celebrating this at all. I don't think anyone who is I don't know, of sound mind should be looking at this and cheering this on, because this will inevitably come for all of us. Okay.
After yesterday,
Yep.
more and more of these,
Like this is literally what the Zionist counter protesters did yesterday, by the way. And the school called the cops on them, and they waited for the random fucking pieces of shit to try and do this. Like these adults that don't even go to UCLA came in and did this to the encampment. They lobbed fireworks at them. They pepper sprayed them. They bear maced them, right? Cops didn't do shit. Then the school, UCLA, used that commotion. Think about this. UCLA used that commotion, instead of protecting their own students, used that commotion to say, hey, now we got to get the cops in to do the exact same thing, but worse. Now they will come in, beat the shit out of you, and arrest you. It's actually crazy.
Palestinian supporters arrived on.
Yeah, they're finding out.
Campus,
I'll tell you that.
bringing in more materials, more PPE, and refortified their walls. Those walls, the perimeter of this encampment now being built, and law enforcement.
It makes me sad, dude. That's it. I don't know what else to say. All of this makes me so sad. It makes me sad because, like, let's say his grievance on the fucking road blockages is like, even if we were to give some credence to the road blockages, okay, which I don't, you know, it's a protest, and it's a fairly valid form of protest. Like, these guys aren't doing that. These guys weren't doing anything. So what kind of protest is valid in Asmon's eyes? Because he thinks that this is a fuck around and find out situation, but they didn't even fuck around. The fuck around moment for the UCLA students was literally what? Saying that they think Israel is in the wrong. That's a whole ass foreign nation, man. What are we doing here? I think it is the most fundamentally American thing in theory to go out there and protest this. To turn around and look at the cops and cheer on the cops beating the shit out of these kids is crazy. The ultimate truth is just normies don't like disruptive protest, period. Except these guys weren't even disruptive. Why you're being so nice to him? If it was a chatter saying this, you'd be yelling at them and telling them they're disgusting for this way of thinking. Come on, man. I think you guys understand that there's a difference between an anonymous sock account that a chatter has created to be disruptive in this chat versus a dude who I've known for many, many years who commands a pretty fucking sizable audience of people I will never be able to reach. And I hope that, like, he changes his way of thinking on this matter. Those people that I will never be able to reach will get a different perspective when he changes his mind on this issue. I apologize to those who compare themselves as chatters, random chatters, on their 11th sock account to motherfucking Asmongold, who's putting out YouTube videos every single day with like 500,000 views. If you were putting out YouTube videos every day with 500,000 views and you commanded influence in an audience that is that sizable, and I knew the breadth of your perspective a little bit better, then probably I would be a little bit different in the way that I deal with it.